Good morning, everybody. How appropriate. So today, Ant-Man and the Wasp opens, and you and I were just chatting. This is so apropos to talk about bugs.
Yeah.
You were saying we got to give them credit. And if you think about it, Batman, you have Spider-Man, you have the Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're all based on insects or animals that we're really sometimes afraid of, but they really are superheroes with superpowers of their own.
There are so many beneficial bugs out there, but bugs in themselves are pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's always a reason why they're around, even how they organize themselves and how they work together, especially when it comes to ants. And I know there are several ants around this year. The wind's blowing around. And a lot of people are wondering, how do we control ants?
Yeah.
And there are many different types of ants. Probably the most common ant, which we're going to show you a picture of right now, is the garden ant. It's just a black ant. And a lot of the times people want to get rid of them. Probably the number one thing you can do is just, number one, take water and just put it over like that colony and drown them out. You can do that. You can take boiling water and pour them over as well. But what I love to do is, this is called borax, and borax usually used to clean clothes.
Yeah.
But you can take 50% borax, mix 50% sugar, and you put it near some of the mounds or where you see ants are. And what will happen is the ants will pick up that mixture together and then go back and feed it to the colony.
They get the sugar granules along with the chemical.
And then what they're going to do is feed it to the colony, take care of the ant colony, and then all of a sudden you're going to see a reduced population of ants. But generally ants are in an area. If they're in your home, they're usually a water source that's around. So you got to figure out, why are they there? It's usually based on food source that will really help you out.
What about, I'm hearing chalk. Does that work?
That's chalk, so they won't walk across chalk, so you're not necessarily going to get rid of the ant. It's kind of fun to contain, so you can actually put some chalk down. Diatomaceous earth, you can put that down. Anything that's chalky, they won't walk across. For instance, you know, we're going to go to aphids.
Yes.
Aphids.
What are those? The little wee...
They're little green, sometimes brown, sometimes red. They'll actually mimic, and they'll look like whatever the plant is that they're on.
Yeah.
If you ever see ants on a plant, generally they'll be behind the aphid. So what happens is the aphid goes and eats, and as the aphid eats, it secretes this little sweet substance, and the ant will be behind that. So if you have ants on a plant, look ahead of that ant, and it'll be aphids that are there.
It's the circle of life. It's the chain.
So if you see aphids on a plant, first thing you can do is just take your hose, put a high-pressure spray, wash them off.
Blast them off.
That's the first thing you can do. Of course, if you do have EcoSense Bug Be Gone, that's something that you can purchase. I always like to have that in my arsenal, but let's say that you don't have time, you don't have that, but you have liquid dish soap. Liquid dish soap in water, mix about a teaspoon and about a liter of water, and then what you're going to do is put that in a misting bottle. In the morning and or later afternoon, never during the heat of the day, you're going to spray those aphids. What happens is the insecticidal soap that you're creating,
slippery.
It'll actually coat the
leaves.
The insect itself. It coats the leaves as well, but the aphids itself, all of a sudden you take care of that problem. Slugs.
That's good.
So slugs are an insect that are hermaphrodite. You know what hermaphrodite means?
Oh, no.
Hermaphrodite means it has male and female parts
organs?
on the same. So they don't even have to talk to somebody to create more slugs that are out there. So how do we get rid of slugs? First off, make sure that you're watering in the morning. Don't water at night. Wet gardens at night are breeding grounds, right?
It's not drying up in the sun.
Yeah. And so this year we haven't seen as much slugs or as many slugs because we've been dry. But you can create, you know, another reason to put beer out there.
A brewski.
But you can just take a little bit of beer and you're going to put it in a margin container or a container. We're going to sink that into the ground, so this is ground level. Slugs will actually be attracted to the yeast in the beer itself, and they'll drown in the beer.
So when you leave it there for what, like a week?
You're gonna leave that? No, they like fresh beer actually.
Oh,
so you're gonna have to take a look day after day after day and harvest them. So newspaper. So this is just a simple newspaper roll that I've rolled up. I'll talk about that in a second. But this is a newspaper roll. Why would I put that in my garden?
For something to crawl into, but what, dry like this?
Well, we're going to moisten it, actually.
Oh, wet.
I would put a little bit moistened. The reason why you're going to put that in your garden is earwigs.
Oh,
earwigs are nocturnal.
They're hideous.
So what happens is when the sun comes up like this in the morning, earwigs in your garden will look for a place to go hide. So they'll go into the those little cracks that are there, and they'll hide in there. And then in the morning, after about midday, I can pick these up, throw them in a garbage bag, and get rid of my earwigs. But the reason why...
They all escape and crawl away when you lift it up because they're alive and well in there.
Well, you just throw them away. You're going to put them in the garbage. You can even put a little bit of insecticidal soap to take care of them.
Okay.
But the reason why earwigs are there, usually decaying wood around. So if you have a wood pile, just get rid of the wood pile.
And raspberry bush. We used to have one. We found out the hard way. They love the raspberry bush.
They love the decaying wood underneath the decaying cane. So that's just a couple of more tips. If you want more, you can go to frankieflowers.com.
What was all the plate and everything else?
So the plate's for birds, baking soda's for fungus and molds and things like that. The garlic powder and the cayenne pepper is sometimes to put around a garden if you have squirrels and things coming in.
Okay, perfect,
But there's
Frankie.
even more. There's bananas. There's a whole whack of stuff.
Banana. Frankie at frankieflowers.com or at Frank Ferragini. You are always so great at getting all of those questions and every now and again answering them. Yeah, as much as you can. Thanks, Frankie.